everybody! If there's a bright center to YouTube, you're on the show it's furthest from. Because nobody's listening here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel.
Well
My
played.
name is Matthew. Joining me today on Excitedly, a short notice show, is Rachel.
Heck yes. What a day. What a day. I am so, activated and alive.
It's been an exciting day.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into everything going on as sort of part of the day one of, 4 of Star Wars Celebration.
Louise.
And it was funny, it just sort of snuck up on me, because I was like, oh yeah, Star Wars Celebration is this weekend. It seems like this has been a very low-key... hey, there's not a whole lot of plans or not a whole lot of announcements but that turned out to be false. But I just want to let everybody sort of know who may randomly come across this show. Apparently, Rachel, I don't know if you've heard this, the internet has decided to sort of be silent on what they think of episode 6 of The Mandalorian season 3. It's very, very quiet. So we will be releasing our review of it soon, so fear not, everybody. We will throw in our voice as to what we think of Episode 6 of Mandalorian this season, because I know no one has been hearing anything from any Star Wars fan about what they thought of that episode. Very quiet. Have you noticed anything at all?
I've seen whispers, the whisper campaign about it. Also,
Okay.
I'm dropping something in our Discord. Someone has leaked the full Andor season 2 trailer with better quality. So I don't know if you want to pause for a second and live react to this leak. But I wanted to make sure you were aware of this.
Let's just do it.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to pause.
All right, tell me when you're ready.
Okay, I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, play.
All right.
Here we go.
Sorry, I don't know how to make it so you can't hear it in the background, so I apologize.
That's okay. We'll get copyright. The whole channel will get taken down.
Or I'll mute myself. How about that?
Oh my god, this already looks gorgeous.
Oh my god, I've missed this show so much.
Jesus, look at these shots. They're incredible. I'm getting goosebumps.
I know. I'm excited to see Cyril Karn. That's how excited I am about this.
The music. Oh man, the music.
Oh my god. I might have to immediately watch it again. I'm sorry. I'm so excited that I'm having trouble absorbing. I'm just it's washing over me.
For our audience who might have not seen this or when they hear this, it's just pictures of people's faces and it's amazing.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of action in it. It's just kind of so good.
Okay,
oh,
wait.
Man.
One more time. It's a minute long. You gotta let me do it because I said,
go for it. Go for it. I'll do it too.
I'm restarting.
Yeah. Replay video. Here we go.
Oh my god. Just chills. Just chills.
Yeah, the
walking
panel
down
is
halls.
great too.
They're walking down halls. I'm delighted.
Look how beautiful it looks, though. Look, it's a reflection in a mud puddle.
Yeah.
And it looks so great.
Oh my god. All right, what is going on with Cyril with the secret message? Oh, secret messages.
Where's my girl? I haven't seen her yet.
I seen her once. There's one
must-
moment, and she's looking, fascist. Don't worry. She's still.
Don't you mean fine?
I mean, you choose one F word, I'll choose another. Oop, the lesbians are back. Yes. Luthen.
Okay, Luthen still got his shop there. That's good.
Some new peeps showing up. Fire, I'm about it.
And they are, for people who don't know, they are actually still filming this as we speak. I don't think they said they actually get done filming until this fall.
Jeez,
so,
Louise.
I mean, we're not getting all the great stuff that they probably could show, but
yeah,
that's all
it takes
a
while to make perfection. You know what I mean? You need to let them do their thing.
Oh man, that trailer is dope too. This is just they just keeps getting better.
Seriously,
Better,
from
better.
the moment I opened my eyeballs today, it has been 10 out of 10.
I know, so good. So
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna talk about Andor coming up here and a lot of other stuff.
Yes.
The other thing I want to mention to our viewers out there is we also don't fret. I'm gonna make sure that Rachel put through the trauma of reliving the Bad Batch season finale. We will get to that as well. These episodes are coming. You know what to do if you want to make sure that you get them. So they're coming.
Yep, it's happening.
All right.
It's all happening.
So yeah, basically, we're just gonna give a rundown of the news that came out today, somewhat out of the blue, like I mentioned. I don't think most Star Wars fans had any idea all this stuff was dropping. We're gonna kind of give our initial thoughts and let you know if we're excited. Spoiler, we are, or if we're just kind of ready for Lucasfilm to shut down and call it a rotation. I don't know. So, but we'll bury the lead here because obviously Ahsoka is going to be the big thing. So we're gonna bury the lead a little bit and sort of lead up to Ahsoka. We gotta get them sweet YouTube watch time metrics, right? You gotta stick with it all the way through. So, first thing I got on the outline here, I got the official Star Wars sort of eras or periods timeline that they've sort of dropped here, and I brought up a photo of it here. So, it starts with Dawn of the Jedi. And then it goes into, for the first time officially since Disney purchased it, the Old Republic. They have actually announced the Old Republic and that there's going to be stuff that's going to be made in that era and time period, which, Revan? Are they going to do Knights of the Old Republic at some point? I don't know. Then we got the High Republic, we got the Fall of Jedi, Reign of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, the New Republic, Rise of the First Order, and then the New Jedi Order. So, what do you think of these time periods, eras that they're going to play around in?
I mean, I think it's really exciting. You know how I feel about like sticking too closely to just like the very small dynastic story that many of these films explored, knowing how exciting the stories are in the expanded universe and all of these other timelines. I'm delighted. I also love the way that, like, in this Filoni era, we are just like constantly enriching the world building, and so getting to see that happening in canon is super, super cool. I'm excited for all these stories.
Do you have any particular era that you're excited about?
Well, I know very, very little about like the High Republic or those like the earlier things. I know very little about it. I haven't delved that deeply into the expanded universe. So all of that is new and interesting to me, especially if it's getting into the weird like magical stuff that it appears to be. Especially with like, because I don't think we're setting all of that up with when we get to the Ahsoka stuff if we're not going to explore it in the back, like backfill it early, at some point.
Yeah.
So that stuff is really, really interesting to me. How about you? Like, a little bit more about these different eras. What's exciting to you?
Well, I fall in the camp of Star Wars fans that has always wanted to see some sort of live action or animation done in the Old Republic era. I mean, that's when you have like thousands of Sith running around and like Sith versus Jedi, like full scale warfare going on. And it's like we've seen this in games, like, and everybody loves that because like, okay, that's just gonna look so badass. And there's so many great characters that you can play around with from the video games, like Knights of the Old Republic, even the second one. They're just great. Amazing Sith characters, crazy twists and turns, and that's what I want to see. I want to see them do something in the Old Republic. So that's what I'm most excited for. And low-key excited. I know most Star Wars fans are not going to be excited for this at all. I'm actually excited for the new Jedi Order, what they're going to do post Rise of Skywalker. You know my feelings on Rise of Skywalker and Last Jedi, but
I do.
We will get to it. I'll keep my powder dry for when we talk about a specific thing that's coming up. But the new Jedi Order is what I'm actually also kind of excited for. So and I think you're right. Getting out of this sort of like, I love the Mandoverse and everything that takes place around the original trilogy. That's all great. If we're getting the best Star Wars content with Andor, for example, that takes place right around all that time. But I do want to branch out. I want to bring new people into Star Wars who are like, who are these crazy characters? And I think we're going to get that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm very, very, very excited about it. Honestly, I just feel, and maybe I'm just high on my own supply right now, but I'm just excited for all of it. I feel like it all has the potential to be really amazing storytelling and in a world that I love so much. So give it to me all, just straight into my eyeballs, inject it into my eyeballs. I'm ready.
Yeah. I was this morning when all this news was dripping out, and I was like, you know what? I'm like Kylo Ren in The Last Jedi when he's shooting Luke Skywalker. He's like, more! I'm just like screaming, more! That's what I feel like right now. Right now. And hey, internet, it's okay to be excited about Star Wars. It's totally okay. You don't lose any cool points if you
No.
if you admit that I'm excited for this stuff. Now, whether or not it all turns out good, that's a
Who knows?
separate
Who
thing.
knows?
But at least you can get excited that they're announcing this kind of stuff. So,
Right. Right.
um,
I mean, so much of the fun is the anticipation, right? So, like, don't poo poo on the anticipation portion of it. One of the
yeah,
things I loved watching it today when they had the sort of like little side interviews was just you could feel even all the way through the TV, just the excitement and the enthusiasm and the lack of cynicism in the crowd. And it was nice to sort of experience the fandom in that way. I know if I go into the internet, it will not be that. But in those moments, just watching people get excited about something I was excited about felt nice. It just felt nice.
yeah, non-toxicity is a good thing. Who knew?
Who
Who
knew?
knew? Okay, so those are the timelines. Now we'll start moving into some of the big announcements. Skeleton Crew was kind of announced. They showed some footage of this. We saw, I guess the pirated copy that was kind of
Yeah.
posted up on YouTube of it. So the footage wasn't great. I don't even think it
No.
showed the entire thing at all. But I do
Mm-mm.
think we did see Vane. It looked like we saw
Yes.
Vane there. It looks like it
Yes.
might have something to do with pirates. And if that's the
Uh-oh.
case, I'm 100% on board because I love
Uh-oh.
pirates.
I mean, I assumed we would see him again, but I thought it would be Ahsoka related. It never
Yeah.
occurred to me that they were spinning off for Skeleton Crew, or so
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
and John Watts is doing this. I love John Watts, obviously.
Yeah.
All his Spider-Man movies, I think, are great. I love them. He's super talented. And apparently he just pitched this to Jon Favreau when he was making Far From Home or something. He's like, hey, I have this idea of like Goonies and Star Wars. What do you think? And then they decided to make this. So you got a talented filmmaker behind it. I don't know much about it, but I'm on board with it. And I love that stuff. I love Goonies. I love The Lost Boys. I love
Yeah.
that stuff where it's like sort of coming of age and you're going on an adventure because that's the kind of stuff that kids love, right? Kids want to go on crazy adventures like that.
Yeah.
And I hope that this turns out to be sort of like the Goonies of Star Wars and bring in a whole bunch of like kids who can get on board with Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is kind of a master of almost the John Hughes-esque tone, which I think could be a really fun mashup for Star Wars. Although it's funny because to me, I always associate him with his first film, which I also had a lot of children in it. Have you ever seen Clown?
No, I have not.
It is about a guy who puts on a clown suit for his child's birthday party, but it turns out it is possessed, sort of, and he
really?
can't take it off, and it turns him into a child-eating clown.
I have not seen that. I'll have to check that out.
I actually recommend it. I kind of think it's amazing. It has Peter Stormare in it, and it's
Oh wow.
pretty
Okay.
great.
I will
Yeah.
definitely check it out then.
But
I love that guy.
when I tell you, like, tonal whiplash, get ready.
Did John Watts, did he direct that cop car movie or God, what was the name of that movie?
I know what you're talking about. The one with Kevin Bacon in it, right?
Yes. Didn't he direct that?
He might have. Yes, he did. He directed
Okay.
it. Yep.
I like that movie a lot too. I know apparently you're not a fan of the bacon, but I like that
no.
movie.
Well, this is another show. Save it for IOU. I
Okay.
have thoughts.
We'll save it for IOU. So let's move into our next announcement. I know everyone we're flying through here, but we're on a time schedule, so we gotta
And
we gotta fly this.
they gave us so many announcements. Like,
I
this
know.
should have been the download at the end of the entire weekend. It's day one.
Yeah.
Day one.
Well, maybe it had something to do with that Mando episode 6. We'll see. But a show I know that you are very excited for, The Acolyte. So I think, was it Leslie Headland? Is she the one that's doing that, right? And she pitched it apparently as Frozen meets Kill Bill from the perspective of the bad guys, which it sounds incredible.
Yeah, I have no idea what that means, but I cannot wait to find out. I love the cast of this is incredible. I'm a huge Daphne Keane fan. I'm a huge Amanda Stenberg fan. Carrie Ann Moss is an icon.
Oh, yeah. She's great.
Leslie Headland makes amazing things. Like, everybody in this is really, really interesting. Are actors that I really like Rebecca Henderson. I know probably is not someone you know, but like is a renowned queer actor. And this thing is gonna be gay. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for The Acolyte.
Yeah, and again, we saw a little bit of a leaked teaser, somebody recording from their cell phone, and I mean, Carrie Ann Moss is in it, and she's doing like Matrix shit in it with
Yeah.
the Force, and I'm just like, this is gonna be
Yeah.
like ninjas in the Star Wars universe with lightsabers. Like, God, yes, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've seen like some like speculation that it's about maybe about two sisters, two force sensitive sisters, and one was taken and one was left behind to feel resentment and join the dark side. Yes, give it to me. I want it. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and I'm really obviously I like bad guys in Star Wars. I've always
Mm,
drawn to the bad guys, and one thing I was gonna pitch to you, I haven't actually put it in the Discord yet, is I was trying to think of maybe topic ideas for shows we could do in the break because
right.
Mando's almost over, and I don't think Ahsoka comes out till September, so there's probably like
Yeah.
nothing's coming out this summer for Star Wars. So I was thinking like I think we floated the possibility of doing like a top 10 favorite Star Wars characters or something. And I've already
Ooh,
started
yeah.
penciling in my 10 and it's very villain heavy. So I'm very
Shocker.
excited. Yeah, I'm
Shocker.
very excited to see the Acolyte and sort of see. And I think it takes place in the High Republic. So this is
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw it was like 100 years before A New Hope. So you're getting like the Sith are still in hiding at this point in time, and the Jedi don't have any idea that they're around. So I'm curious as to how they're going to tell a story about like bad guys in the Sith without ever being able to really allow the Jedi to know that they're around. I'm just curious how they're gonna do that.
I mean, Star Wars has a storied history of taking Jedi's and turning them into incredibly powerful Sith. I
Yeah.
imagine that's what this is going to be, right? Like this is going to be like a Dooku style
Do you,
character turn.
do you think? And I don't know if depending on when they actually set this, how far in advance, do you think we're going to see like a young Palpatine in this at all?
I mean, I'm thinking, yeah, like a little Plagueis action. Why not, right?
Yeah,
Right? I mean,
maybe.
there has to be some of they have to be kicking around, right? They're just underground. And I think that's like one of the major sort of themes. I mean, look at the Jedi's, right? Everything is cyclical in Star Wars. Everything is cyclical. And if there was a time where the Jedi were largely forgotten and just a few scattering and they could come back the way that they did, of course that's true of the Sith as well. So I'm guessing we are going to see they're going to name check if not ones we know from film from the expanded universe. This is how they're going to get them in. It's going to happen.
Well, what's so interesting about this is, if the Sith are involved, are they not following the rule of two, or
Mm,
are we seeing the Sith and the Master and Apprentice before Plagueis and Palpatine? Because there can only
mm,
unless they're changing canon and they're going to explain it somehow, there can only be two Sith. And the Jedi have no idea that the Sith are even around by the time of the events of the prequel trilogy. They're shocked that there could even be a Sith. So
right.
I'm just curious how they're going to play this story, and maybe it's just going to be a more low key story where it's not like galaxy wide sort of thing,
Could be.
more
Yeah.
intimate sort of storytelling. I don't know, but I'm excited to see it.
I mean, maybe the entire thing is about answering that question and that's where it ends. You know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah,
could be a totally different story that just sort of, like, results in the return of the Sith. I don't know. I'm excited to find out. I will tell you that it
yeah.
looks, even though it was a grainy, shitty copy that I saw, like, stylistically, in terms of the costuming that I could see, it looks fantastic. It looks
Yeah.
kind of dark and noir esque, and I'm about that life.
I would
So,
love like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Star Wars or something. Just like
right? Right?
that would be super super cool. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And just throw it out there. It might have nothing to do with the Sith at all. It could just be bad
Mm-hmm.
force sensitive people doing
Right?
bad things. Right? It's not
Right?
actual Sith. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
I mean, it's hard. I'm blending things 'cause I know there's a conversation about power, but I'm pretty sure that's in the Ahsoka trailer. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
there could be sort of a running theme throughout, though. So
we'll
I don't
see.
know. We shall see.
All right. Well, we just watched it. Andor season 2. Um,
Yes.
Not until late summer of 2024 will we get this masterpiece, which
Ooh.
makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
But
Brutal.
hey, it's coming. I would rather them spend their time
Yep.
and make it perfect than be too greedy and get it sooner rather than later. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
overall, you're Andor season 2. I watched a lot of the panels, by the way. I
Mm-hmm.
recommend checking out the panel they did. I'm sure it's up on the Star Wars YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It has like the costume designer on it. It's got Tony
Uh-huh.
Gilroy. It's
Uh-huh.
got Diego Luna, like a bunch of the actual creators of the show. And it was just a really, really well moderated and
Mm-hmm.
really great responses from them. But your thoughts on Andor season 2?
I mean, I'm not that surprised it's going to be so far because if I recall, Andor was like the first live action of the series to go into production and did not come out till four other ones had already come out. So that they are a slower production is not that shocking to me. I will say the one thing I feel better about after having watched the panel is the time jumps. Like I was pretty
Yeah.
concerned about the pace, but it sounds like they're doing arcs, like multi episodes arcs, and then they're just a year apart. So it's not like there's like 5 years, 6 years in between these. It's hard for me to keep track of. I have trouble with the timeline, so I wasn't sure how much time we were covering. So to know that it's essentially 5 years, 4 years, um, with these little mini arcs, I feel better about it because I feel like there will still be room for those kind of like quieter character building moments that we really appreciated
Yeah.
in the
And
first season.
and I think it's gonna depend on like the running time of each episode. So
Yeah.
it's me like, oh
True.
man, that's only 1 year is only 3 episodes. Well, if they're the length of the Mandalorian episodes, we're gonna have a problem. If it
Yeah.
turns out they're an hour and 15 minutes per episode, I'm getting
We're gonna be in heaven.
yeah. So in Tony Gilroy, I trust. I
Yeah.
don't think Tony Gilroy is gonna put anything out there that is garbage. So
Yeah.
I don't think we have to fear much of anything at all. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, Andor season 2, the trailer looked awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All the discussion around it looked awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in
Loved it.
awe of just how much thoughtfulness goes into all. It feels like it, but to hear them talk about the way that the music worked and the work process and the way that they thought about all the cost, all of those things, like it shows up on screen, and to hear them talk about it so passionately is just it's awesome. It like I felt an awe of it.
I watched a little sort of mini interview because if you watch Star Wars Celebration, a lot of it's streamed on the Star Wars YouTube channel, and they did like a
Mm-hmm.
little mini interview with the actor who plays Brasso.
Hmm.
And he was talking to, I guess the interviewer just asked him a general question, and he went into detail. Like, you do remember back in when he's like, I don't know, what was he, like a miner or something?
Yeah.
He did something like that, but there was all the gloves on the walls that they would go
Mm-hmm.
up and grab. He
Yeah.
said that the reason for all those gloves was because that was actually the gloves of their deceased fathers from the mines, and
Oh
that
my
was their that
God.
was their father's spot, and so they basically really kind of worship and that sort of tradition of like, these are the gloves of my father, and this is where my father hung his basically gloves at the end of the day, and this is where I do. And I'm like, this is it's so good. You don't get that just
God.
watching the episode. Like, they never say that in the show, but just to your point, that the creators of the show have gone so far and be like, we need to have an explanation for everything, and it's got to be a creative explanation for anything. I think Tony Gilroy even mentioned when they were talking about the score, they had the composer up there on the
Yeah.
panel, and he's
Yeah.
like, look, we're going up against John Williams. Like, we
Yeah.
have to bring our A game here when we're
Yeah.
deciding what we're going to do with the score, because everything is compared to the great John Williams.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved it when we were talking about how they were talking about the music for the Eye, that storm that takes place on Aldani.
Yeah.
And he was just like, and then I was like, the chanting, maybe it's in this tone, and maybe it mimics the sound of the event, and like all of that kind of building around the music and the lore and the mythology, all the way that it all just sort of like links together. It's just cool, man. It's just
Yeah.
cool.
I like that when Tony Gilroy said that initially in that eye sequence, they were supposed to have like thousands and thousands of
Hmm.
extras there. And for
Yeah.
various reasons, they couldn't have that many people. It was COVID primarily, and then Kathleen
Yeah.
Kennedy made the joke in money, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
But Tony Gilroy, I mean, this is when you're a great creative mind. He's like, it actually worked way better because then it forced him to sort of change. Well, how does the script work? Well, it's just it's the last few that are coming, right? The Empire has
Yeah.
successfully turned all these people on their culture, and and it's just these last remnants, and how sad would that be? And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
is pretty sad.
Yeah.
So yeah. Andor Season
Ugh,
2, can't wait. Summer of
can't wait.
2024. Please, I don't want to die before summer of 2024.
Right?
Knock on wood that nothing bad happens because I want to finish that out at
Yes.
least.
Even in the darkest days, I'll be like, Andor
Yes.
2024.
Yes.
I must stay strong.
So next up, we're going to start getting into feature films. So James
Yeah.
Mangold directing a Star Wars film. James Mangold, of course, his new movie is the new Indiana Jones movie, Dial of Destiny, which I think that
Yes.
they did show a trailer for that. I think it looks
Mm-hmm.
cool. It seems like a throwback to the classic Indiana Jones that we all.
As long as it's not like Crystal Skull, I'm good.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was so bad, but
Terrible.
it looks good. He also obviously did Logan. That's a very well. I mean, everybody loves
Yeah.
Logan, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be directing a film, and it's going to be about the very first Jedi, like the first
Mm-hmm.
Jedi. I guess the discovery of the Force. So most likely if you're going to have a Jedi, you're going to have the dark side as well. So I think he's making a movie about the very beginning of how this all started, the Force and the Jedi, and probably the Sith. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, are they gonna rewrite the canon around the ones? I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
are they gonna show up? Is it start on that on the with the Mortis gods or whatever? No,
I
I'm
don't know.
I'm excited about it. I loved Logan. I think it's weird, like today there was like a double whammy of like Logan weird connections with Daphne Keene in Acolyte and this, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's a part of the timeline I know very little about. I've heard he's calling it like a biblical epic, which is
Yeah.
interesting. I mean because, there is, like, you talked about this all the time, how like everything about Star Wars is iconic. Everything is like, it's almost like a religion at this point, the way that people like understand this history and are scholars around it. So it makes sense to me, right, that this would be one of the ways that a Star Wars story could be told in this kind of through this lens. So sounds cool. I'm into it.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll be curious if they rewrite the idea like the midichlorians, right? Because
Oh
that's the thing that
please.
people are like, oh, the midichlorians. I wonder if they're going to go a more spiritual route with this. Because if he's saying biblical epic, I don't think it's going to delve into here's how the midichlorians were created and
Right.
given all this stuff. I think that they're really going to try to, midichlorians can still, have an effect on the Force or whatever, but maybe Qui-Gon was wrong. And
Yeah.
maybe it's a more spiritual sort of thing, and I hope that they go that route with it because even Dave Filoni has delved into the spiritual aspects of the Force
You think?
quite heavily. So
Yes.
I hope that's where they go with it, and I think this could be really really cool. I mean, I don't know the story what they're gonna do here, but yeah, I'm
Have
interested to see it.
have midichlorians ever come up since the prequels?
Well, yeah, they've come up in Mando. Remember when
They
they were
did.
getting the midichlorians from Grogu, or they were talking about his high
Right. Okay,
midichlorian
you're right.
count and stuff.
You are
So
correct, sir. I forgot.
yeah, but yeah, so we'll see. Next up, I'm sure I'm going to pronounce her name incorrectly. Charmin Obey Chinoy. Is that how you pronounce it?
That sounds right to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you did
Just
good.
trying to sound it out. I'm terrible at saying names. She's directing a Star Wars film now. Admittedly, I'm not familiar with her work at all. I think I saw that she did some Miss Marvel stuff, but I've yet to get to actually watch that show. She's doing a film set 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker, and they brought out Daisy Ridley, who's going to star in this thing. And I want to just throw it out there into the universe right now. Okay,
Hmm.
for all the people listening
Okay,
out there,
here we go.
I love the Rey character. Fuck
Yeah.
all you haters who bitch and
Hmm.
moan that she's a Mary Sue. I don't give a flying force fuck. Luke
Yes.
Skywalker blew up a Death Star like the same day he was told about the Force. So you all go fuck yourselves about,
Hmm.
Rey's an
Hmm.
awesome character.
Preach.
Now I don't really like what J.J. Abrams decided to necessarily do with that character in Rise of
Fair.
Skywalker. I don't like that, but the character itself is awesome. I think Daisy Ridley's awesome in the role, and I'm actually very excited to see what they do with her sort of like setting up the new Jedi Order. And we're definitely going to see Grogu, right?
Oh, of course, of
He's going to
course,
be
of
like 100
course.
years old at that time. He's going to be really, I mean, he's going to be,
The
was he like a
two
teenager or something?
like the two people that were trained by Luke, of course, they're gonna be together. Like it has to be, right?
I don't know. Like he's not technically a Jedi. He left, right? So I have a completely side tangent theory. I think Grogu becomes the leader of all the Mandalorians going forward. I honestly do, because I was thinking about this the other day when that's what I do. I just sit around and think about Star Wars. But I'm like, look, all of the Mandalorians are just like humans, right? They all age and they die. Except Grogu. Grogu's going to live 900 years old. He's strong with the Force, like, was it Tar Vizsla? The Mandalorian Jedi of ancient times.
Right.
He can wield the dark saber. I think they will set up Grogu as kind of like a Jedi Mandalorian in the future.
Oh,
that's what
interesting.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
No, I mean, we got to hear what he sounds like when he talks first.
Yeah. Yeah. So, are you excited that we're bringing Rey back and we're going to talk about stories going forward?
Yes. I mean, I was thinking about something you said when I was watching this. I was thinking about how, like, Dave Filoni is the hardest working man in Star Wars. He not only had to rescue the prequels, now he has to rescue the sequels. And and I think I'm so grateful that he is, because say what you will about where things ended up in the sequels, J.J. Abrams' original film, he set up a handful of fantastic characters that I am very emotionally invested in and feel deeply squandered.
Yes.
I would love to see a redemption for Rey. Not that she needs a redemption personally, but like in terms of story writing for her. I would love the same thing for all of the characters. I want the redemption for Captain freaking Phasma. That pisses me off so much. How do you have Gwendolyn Christie in that amazing stormtrooper outfit and do nothing with her? It's insanity. It keeps me up at night. So I'm so excited for this. I am so hopeful for this. I feel like Rey is one of the greatest characters that is totally underappreciated. I also, for the record, want to say one of the most sexist terms in the world is a Mary Sue. You cannot use it in good faith. If you use it, you are being a sexist. Just putting that out there into the world, because there is no counter, like a male gendered version of Mary Sue. It is only for women who are seen as being too capable.
It's called Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, but you know that it is not. It's not a pejorative in the same way that Mary Sue is, and it's bullshit and it's garbage. And retire it if you think that you are a feminist. That's all I'm going to say.
Preach. I'm excited, and I don't care who knows it. Leave a comment. Do you think we're crazy for being excited for a new Rey-led Star Wars thing? And here's the thing, everyone. We just talked about Dave Filoni. Star Wars is all about redemption. That's what the whole goddamn universe is about, redemption. Okay?
Facts.
So yes, I'm fine with seeing, more stories with Rey going forward. And I hope that they bring back Finn and, Poe. I hope they bring those characters back. I know
Justice for Rose, okay? Justice for Rose. They did her so dirty.
Yeah, I think, was it John Boyega? I think he's like, I don't ever want to have anything to do with Star Wars ever again, because he was really burned by a lot of the decision making that they rightfully so.
We'll see.
Rightfully so. No, but here's the thing. I think these actors will get back on board if there's an actual really good story. So if Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, if she's like, look, here's the story. Here's what we're going to do with all your characters. They're actors. They want to be able to chew on great stuff. And if they have a chance to redeem themselves and be like, look, Rise of Skywalker is not the last taste in the mouths of Star Wars fans that my character got. I can actually do something here that's, better. I think they'd jump at that. I think so too. I mean, because that first movie's so good. It's so good. Yeah. I like it. I love it. I saw it multiple times, and I don't care that it's a rehash of A New Hope. Yeah, fuck you. It's a good movie.
Yep. Yep.
I
Yep.
like
It
Friday
sparks
the
joy.
13th, and I love Halloween. They're the same
There you
fucking
go.
movie in a different setting. Who cares? I love it. All right, so
I
now.
love Fired Up Matthew. It's
Oh
my
God,
favorite.
yeah. The toxicity of Star Wars quote unquote fandom. These people are not fans of Star Wars. They are
No.
just out to cause problems,
Mm-hmm.
and I have no time for it.
Me
So
neither.
give me
Me
more
neither.
Daisy Ridley. I'm excited.
Yep. Love
Now,
her.
now
All right. All
we're
right.
getting into the big stuff here.
Here we
Dave
go.
Filoni, speaking of the devil himself, Dave Filoni directing a feature film that's going to wrap up the Mando verse, which would be all the Mandalorian stuff, Book of Boba Fett, like all the stuff that's going. Hey, maybe Dave can redeem Boba Fett.
Listen, it's possible. It's possible.
So I'm just gonna start calling him No Baloney Filoni from now on because he finally gets his feature film, and I am so happy for him, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah.
Um,
Tell me.
so this reminds me a lot of Sam Raimi. Okay, so when I was a
Mm-hmm.
young lad, 8, 9 years old, my mom's like showing me Evil Dead and Evil Dead
Awesome.
2 and Army of Darkness when it came out in the early 90s and things of that nature. As I was growing up, like Sam Raimi was not well known. He was known amongst like horror fans, right? And
Right.
then he got his opportunity. He got to do like the
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man movies and stuff like that. And to me, it's like, people often ask me, well, it's just why do people cry when like celebrities die, right? I will
Yeah.
tell you, when John Carpenter kicks the bucket, I'm going to be
Yeah.
bawling my eyes out.
Yeah.
Why? It's because it's almost
Carrie
like a,
Fisher.
yeah. It's almost like a, like you it's not quite like a friendship level, but it's
It's a
like,
parasocial relationship. It is.
yeah,
It is.
it's like,
It is a thing. It is totally a thing.
yeah, because you basically, it's like like for me, I'm a storyteller myself, and so it's like I identify with these storytellers. It's almost like a language we speak to one another, right? You're like telling
Yeah.
this language of storytelling, and it impacts you personally on a very deep level.
Yeah.
Dave Filoni I mean, we have been singing Dave Filoni's praises for years.
Yeah.
Years. We've
Yeah.
grown up with Dave Filoni, and it's so good. Like, all these people, like Kathleen Kennedy's just handing out Star Wars directing duties like they're candy and firing everybody like immediately, and we're just like, what does Dave got to do? Like you said, he's basically saving Star Wars
Yeah.
for the prequels, the sequels, all of this, and I'm so happy he's earned it. He deserves it, and it feels like a best friend of Star Wars is finally given a big shot on a big stage, and I'm so happy for him.
And I mean, has anyone ever done more groundwork for the story that he's about to tell in the
Yeah.
history of filmmaking ever? I mean, there's like 9 series leading into this. There's so much lore. There's so many characters who have such a stake in their story. There's huge impactful historical things within this world that this story is going to wrap up. I mean, the pressure to deliver on something like this, in Dave I trust, but my God, does that sound like a challenge?
Yeah.
Although I suspect he knew from the start where he was going with this.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I will throw out a prediction. I
Okay.
don't think it's going to end well for your girl Ahsoka.
Stop it!
I don't think
Stop
it is.
it! She's going between worlds. Leave her alone.
She's been saved once before. I don't know if she's
Stop
going to be
it.
saved this time.
Can I have a parasocial relationship with a fictional character?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
So yeah, I can't wait for this. I don't know when. They didn't announce dates for any of this stuff. And to be completely fair out there, they announce Star Wars movies all the time, and then they implode and they don't happen. But we know the yeah, we know the Dave Filoni one's gonna happen, right? I mean, that's all he does is live Star Wars. We know that one's happening.
Yeah.
Hopefully James Mangold doesn't get pissed off at Kathleen Kennedy and quit, and hopefully Charmin Obaid-Chinoy doesn't get pissed off at Kathleen Kennedy and quit as well.
I feel like they're cleaning house at Disney, so maybe like some of the problems have been removed.
I can't imagine that Bob Iger did not say to Kathleen Kennedy, "You're only announcing this shit if it's rock solid and it's happening,
Yeah. Yeah,
because
got Ike Perlmutter out of there.
yeah,
Get out of here.
yeah. So, Dave Filoni, much love to you. Hopefully you listen to this, and
I mean,
we
I
can't wait.
obviously he does. There's
Yeah,
no way he
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah. We can't wait to see what you, because he has directed some Mandalorian episodes and they were awesome. So we'll see.
Yes.
Now,
So exciting.
now, all right,
My
the
girl.
big one. We've buried
My
the
girl.
lead long enough. Ahsoka, I'll turn it over to you. Your thoughts?
Oh my god. I've watched this trailer like 10 times. I feel like I'm a trailer forensic specialist now, trying to look at every frame, trying to figure out everything that's inside it. But I mean, this is what I'm talking about with Filoni. He's laid the groundwork for every moment in this trailer to be meaningful. Everything from the hieroglyphics on the temple in the opening shots, you're like, oh, that's the Between the Worlds, to seeing a hologram of Ezra, or seeing Hera show up, or Mon Mothma. All of those things have such, like, it was just like every beat of the trailer was like, ooh, oh my god, this is heir to the Empire, but that it only happens because of all the work that came before it and making us totally invest in every little detail in the trailer. It looks amazing.
It does. It does. And from what I understand, he wrote the entire series himself, and I think he directed most of the episodes, which makes me think that Lucasfilm obviously has already seen this. They know what they have with this show. I don't think they'd be announcing Dave Filoni is directing the end of the Mandoverse had they not been like, wow, we have a winner here. Like, this is really, really good. I wouldn't be surprised if Dave Filoni is the one that writes. Like, Jon Favreau, I appreciate Jon Favreau's ideas, but I think we're starting to see that Jon Favreau's weakness as a screenwriter.
Finesse. He lacks a little finesse.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping that, it'll be announced that, oh yeah, Dave Filoni's also writing his film that he's doing. But you're absolutely right. This looks so good. It looks serious. It doesn't look like, hey, we're having goofy stuff. It's like, this shit's real. I think even the special effects look so good now.
Yes.
It doesn't even come out for 5 months. I'm like, God, you got me at ruins. Ray Stevenson, who is I love Ray Stevenson.
I love him.
He looks like such a badass in this. I don't know if he's a Sith. I don't know if he's like a dark Jedi.
His lightsaber is orange,
yeah,
which is interesting.
Which I don't
it's not
think
red.
we've seen. I don't think we've seen orange.
But we see him in the World Between Worlds.
Yeah.
And then watching this many, many times, I realized when he's giving that power speech, he's in this sort of place that is gray with like red leaves behind him. And then later Ahsoka talks and she's in the same place. So I'm not totally convinced that they're bad guys. I feel like maybe they're people from the Outer Rim that are also after Thrawn.
Really? Okay.
Or, no, from the outer, further outer than the Outer Rim. But like, I don't know. I'm not totally convinced that they're villains. I mean, I guess one of them does sort of storm a Republic ship. But I'm just saying, like, maybe
he's force choking New Republic officers in the...
I'm wondering if it's more complicated than that. I mean,
okay,
we are getting a total, like, Darth Vader at the end of Rogue One moment in that hallway. Admittedly so, but I just feel like it's like they're from Purgle Land and they're also maybe on the trail of Thrawn. Just based on, I mean, this is just my conspiracy theory, just based on those two shots. I'll send you screen grabs after we're done recording.
Okay.
But yeah, I love him. He was great. I loved him ever since Rome.
Oh,
he was really great in Rome.
That's where I first remember seeing.
Okay.
Of course, I've seen Rome. Are you kidding me?
I know that was dumb. I take it back. I'm embarrassed.
I got that Blu-ray sitting on my shelf right now.
Okay. I realized what I've said, but I take it back.
Yeah. As soon as I watched this, and I posted in the Discord this morning, because I was like, Rachel's going to lose her shit. She's going to lose her shit.
Literally the first thing I saw this morning, I was like, today is the greatest day.
Yeah. And they don't give you too much. I love that they don't show Thrawn, right? They show his back. Like, you see him from the back, kind of like, remember I was like, when's the great way to introduce Thrawn is you see him from back, and then he's like looking at a piece of like Sabine's art or something. If you look just beyond Thrawn, it kind of looks like there's some sort of artwork there, but
you see that
kind of out of
artwork shows
focus.
up later in the trailer too. Like there is that I don't remember her name, but she was introduced in that episode of Mandalorian with Ahsoka. She was like the magistrate that was in charge of that town and was like exploiting and like
Yes. Oh,
extracting everything.
Morgan something. I can't remember what her
Yes,
last name is.
Magistrate Morgan. Sure.
Yes.
But so she, if you look, she also is on that on the same sort of ship with those weird circle things. I watched the trailer a lot.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like, and then at one point, Ahsoka is fighting with droids that have the Seventh Fleet logo on their heads.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay. See, I didn't even catch that.
Yes, I mean, yeah. So I don't know what is happening, but I am very excited. The other thing is obviously we saw live action Rebels.
Yes. No Zeb.
No Zeb, but
No
I
Zeb.
mean, that doesn't mean he's not there.
He's got to
Although
be
he does-
there. He's gonna
he's
show
up, right?
He has
They're
to.
gonna get the band back together.
Of
right?
course, the band's getting back together. That'd be crazy if they didn't bring in Zeb. But that's what I loved about this trailer or this teaser. It doesn't show too much, right? It shows just enough that you're like, holy shit, this is gonna be great. Mary Elizabeth Winstead looks awesome as Hera.
Amazing.
We get some Chopper in there. We get Sabine. Sabine looks awesome. I love all the colored hair. I'm like, this is
Yes,
this
and
is,
it doesn't look like a terrible wig, which is a huge problem for
Yes.
me. It always is so distracting when there's a bad wig, and hers looks great. I know you don't care about this, but love cat. I was
Oh, no,
so excited.
it was cool. I was like, oh, okay. See, as long as it's not real and in my presence trying to
Right,
kill me
fair.
with its dander, I'm
Oh
fine.
my God.
I'm fine.
Sounds like your genetics are the problem.
Oh yeah. Victim blame. I get it.
Problematic Rachel.
I love seeing Mon Mothma in this.
Yes.
And Mon Mothma, Genevieve O'Reilly has the perfect like concerned face. Every time they show her face, it's like, okay, Genevieve, we just need you to look concerned. Yep, that's it. That's exactly.
Mon cannot catch a break, man. We just see her like racked with anxiety in Andor, and she wins eventually, as we know. And then we catch up with her, and it's like concerned face.
Yeah. Mon, I think it was a bad idea to dismantle your fleets. Bad idea, girl. Bad idea, girl. But yeah, again, this is all connecting, and I just love. Now, I'd be curious what somebody who has never seen Rebels and only has seen Ahsoka from Mando, what their reaction to this is, because they obviously we look at it and we're like, wow, but they would basically have no idea who any of these characters are,
Right.
and it's like, well, why should I be excited for this? So I'm curious what a kind of like a normie who hasn't seen Rebels would kind of think of this trailer.
I mean, they cut it in such a way that it is like very heavy on the like bombastic Star Wars.
Lightsabers.
You know? Like, there's lots of Force use, lots of lightsabers, lots of droid action. I mean, I think this is a 4-quadrant trailer, but it's a major boon to anyone who's actually done all of the supplementary watching, because it's just like Easter egg after Easter egg after Easter egg, like seeing, the ships that we recognize from Rebels, seeing, what is it, the Phantom 2, but now it has a little chopper hole, those kinds of things look like Star Wars. They look like cool Star Wars moments to people who don't know them, but for us, we're like, it's the Phantom 2, and oh my God, Chopper's on it,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's well done, I think. I don't know what they're going to think when we get in the storytelling and we're getting between worlds and whatnot. Like, that's some deep cut shit there, so I don't know.
And there's a lot to. I mean, they didn't even touch on like the search for Ezra in this trailer at all, because that's a main thing that's the mission.
Yeah.
Ahsoka's looking for Thrawn to try to find, like, and that's the thing. It's like Dave Filoni teed up the end of Rebels perfectly, because it's like, what happened? What happened? And that's the big mystery. Every Star Wars fan who's watched Rebels is going to watch this show just because they need to know what happened. How is Thrawn here, and what happened to Ezra? Because you just love these characters by the end of Rebels. You just love them. And I can't wait to sort of see where this goes. And I'm just, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So excited.
The trifecta of Sabine, Hera, and Ahsoka, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna not be able to be like, you're gonna have to be the critic. I mean, you usually are anyway on the show, because I'm not gonna be able to be objective at all. Like, anytime they're on screen, no matter what they're doing, I'm gonna be like, perfect, 10 out of 10, no notes.
yeah, it's exciting. It's an exciting time for Star Wars. So one thing I did think was interesting on day one, they announced all these movies. No Taika.
Oh,
No Taika
that's
movie.
what they're That's what they're holding. That is what they're
You
holding.
think?
Oh,
Because I was like,
100%.
what happened to this Taika Waititi movie that was supposedly going to be announced?
I
Maybe
mean,
they'll drop more of that. I don't know.
oh, I mean, they've got 72 hours left. I
Yep.
think they'll. I mean, okay, that's actually interesting. So I was thinking about this at the top. I know we need to wrap this up, but what were there any leaks leading up to this that you're aware of? And what are the things that, aside from Taika, are there any other things that you're like, are they going to announce it?
I don't.
I mean, Obi-Wan
think...
season 2,
Yeah,
right?
that would be the big one, and Obi-Wan season 2. Now on Sunday, Ewan McGregor and the cast of Obi-Wan
Yeah.
are showing up.
It's happening.
And will they announce season 2 of Obi-Wan? I don't know if anybody wants a season 2 of Obi-Wan.
I mean, how involved would Dave Filoni be?
Yeah, if Dave Filoni's involved with it, please give me Obi-Wan.
Is it like a two-hander between Dave Filoni and Tony Gilroy? Because
Oh God, please, yes.
I'd be out of my mind.
Can we just put Tony Gilroy permanently on the payroll and be like, look, Jon Favreau just wrote this Mando script. We're gonna hand it to you. Fix it. And then do a new draft on Jon Favreau's Mando script here. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But Obi-Wan season 2 would be the thing, and they did tee that up in Obi-Wan with the whole sort of like underground railroad for Jedi and things of that nature. So I don't think we would get Vader in that season. They seem to be pretty much Emperor Palpatine's like, yeah, you fucking drop this Obi-Wan thing, man. You're off on doing stuff for me now. So if it didn't involve Darth Vader and it was something to do with Obi-Wan Kenobi, trying to, I don't know, help Jedi or save Jedi, maybe. I don't know.
Sense with like where we meet him, I feel like he's pretty like a solitary dude. He's not running an underground railroad of Jedi.
It depends on like when it takes place, because Obi-Wan took place 10 years before A New Hope. So is the sequel like 3 months later and Obi-Wan is helping whoever do this stuff, or is it like fast forward 8 years and it's 2 years before A New Hope and now we have an adventure story? That would be a little weak to me. I just don't know what else you could really do with Obi-Wan that would matter or make a big difference in things.
It's a prequel and they're going to bring back Jake Lloyd.
maybe. My actual biggest concern has to do with the Mandoverse and Filoni sort of wrapping it all up, and even the Ahsoka show. In the Ahsoka trailer, they mentioned I don't know if it's Ezra talking to Sabine and talking to the hologram. There's a voiceover saying there's not many Jedi left, right? So they're specifically talking about the Jedi. The Deus Ex Machina in all of this is Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is out there. We know that Ahsoka knows Luke. They even teed up in Book of Boba Fett. Well, Luke's like, will I ever see you again? She's like, maybe. Of course you're going to see her again.
Of course.
You're going to see her again. But how do you make Thrawn a significant threat in this world when there's like a Luke Skywalker out there? Like, obviously in the Zahn books there's a reason, there's a thing that happens. I don't know if you've read those books or not, so I won't
haven't
spoil.
read all of them. No.
Okay. There's a narrative reason as to why Luke Skywalker can't just show up and do the things that he does. But they have not set up anything like that in this universe. So this new timeline. So I don't know. What are they going to do with Luke? How are they going to handle Luke Skywalker going forward on all of this stuff? That'll be what I'm most concerned about.
Yeah. I mean, is this all going to take place in like Purgle Land? I don't know. I don't know either.
I don't know, but if it's true that this is going to be an Avengers style, the Avengers assemble to take down Thanos sort of thing, you can't have an Avengers assemble without Luke Skywalker.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Unless he's out on an island all by himself whining.
How is there a Thrawn if there's an Ahsoka? She's like equally powerful to Luke.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I would. She beat Darth Vader when she was a teenager. She's amazing. She may be the most powerful Force wielder in the history of Star Wars.
Whoa.
I said what I said.
Well, that is a debate for another episode, friend.
I said what I said.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, but ultimately, I can't wait. Any final thoughts on day one of Star Wars Celebration? I mean, can it get better? I guess. Is there anything you can think of that it could get better than this?
That's the question. Like, how do you possibly top this? I mean, the things that I am most anticipating, the Acolyte and Ahsoka, I got it. So I guess, I mean, and Andor, those are the three things that I'm most excited about, and they hit on all of them. I'm very, very curious to see how you top this. I'm trying to think if there's anything rumored or anything.
Book of Boba Fett season 2.
Oh God! I mean, if they were going to tell me there was a Fennec Shand spinoff, that would be super exciting. Some more information about what's going on with Cad Bane, that would be super exciting.
Is there anything with like video games or anything like that they could announce? Because there's going to be a whole
like
panel
a Knights
on
of the
games.
Republic game would be really, really exciting. I'm guessing they're going to do stuff about the 2 games that are coming up. I mean, obviously, all of the like microphone boxes were Jedi Survivor, but there's also that other one coming from Quantic Dream that I'm really looking forward to. So we've got to get some information about that.
I think I'd be most excited to see something in the animated realm. By Dave Filoni. That's not Bad Batch season 3. Even though I love the Bad Batch, there's been some amazing episodes this season. I don't want it to just be Bad Batch season 3 and that's all we got. I want like Dave Filoni to have like Tales of the Sith or something start giving us some bad guys. Sort of, he's so good at making bad guys. So I just selfishly I want more.
I would like an Asajj Ventress spinoff. There we go. An animated Asajj Ventress would be freaking great.
That would be cool. What if they did like a here's a rumor that's going around. Donald Glover said that they're talking about Lando.
That's what I'm forgetting. Maybe we'll get a Lando announcement.
Yeah. Does Donald Glover show up out of the blue and put on the charm and say a Lando series is coming now?
Talk about another character that was to me absolutely a highlight of the Solo movie. I would love more.
I like the Solo movie. I do not think the Solo movie's bad.
You.
It's not bad.
Happy for you.
It's got some bad moments, but it's not a bad movie.
Okay, great. I'm glad that you have that experience. I did not have as good a time with it, but I support your joy in that. I just feel like you can feel that it's a disjointed, messy movie.
Well, that's for sure. Like the history of how that movie was made.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a miracle that Ron Howard was able to cobble something together. Honestly.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe that's something we could do this summer as we revisit some of these movies and chat about them. And it's like I was telling Alyssa, I was like, well, I got to rewatch Rebels. Just watching Ahsoka, I'm like, I got to rewatch all of Rebels because it's like I'm going to need to know every freaking detail going into Ahsoka.
The text is so dense.
I know.
Like someone was saying something about I was talking about this and I was like, "Oh, are you caught up on Bad Batch?" And they were like, "No." It's like, "I'm sorry, but it's required viewing."
Yeah.
You must watch it for the Mount Countess of it all because there's no way with the Heir to the Empire stuff and these like semi-gray Jedi showing up. I mean, you have to know all this stuff, right?
Yeah. Here at Nobody Is Listening, we are adherents to the gospel of no baloney Filoni. So anything that no baloney Filoni says and writes down, we are fine with.
Yep.
So, cool. Well, thank you everyone for listening to this very special episode. I guess if something crazy breaks this weekend that's beyond this, maybe we'll pop on and have a reaction to that as well. Stay tuned for another 3 days of Star Wars Celebration. And please, everybody, just have fun with Star Wars. It's not always going to be great. We all want it to be great at all times, but that's not realistic. Let's just try to enjoy the good stuff, critique things when it deserves to be critiqued in order to help improve things going forward in the future, but don't hate on anybody for liking Star Wars or whatever. Life is too short, man. Just enjoy the fact that we're getting to see stuff like this.
Right.
It's cool that we're actually getting this kind of stuff. So,
Agree.
All
right. Bye, everybody.
See you.